It's Do Time with Pastor Steph.
My camera. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Rise and shine. You are on with It's Do Time with Pastor Steph. Hold on. And yes, it's me, your girl Shontyce again. I'm here. How's everyone doing this morning? It is a beautiful Friday morning. And I don't know, I thought since we had daylight savings time last week, I thought when I woke up at 6. Hold on, y'all, because my camera's trying to act up. Okay. I thought that when I woke up at about 5:36 a.m., see, I'm about to say a.m. this morning, 5:36 this morning, that it will already be sunlight outside. Why is it still dark? I don't know. But it is a beautiful day to be alive, as Lady Tamika always reminds us every single morning. How are y'all doing? Where were you yesterday? So, yesterday, I was blessed to be with you guys yesterday morning in the absence of Pastor Steph while she gets some rest. And we had a very, very, very interesting conversation yesterday, along with some stories. We spoke about the 20-year-old college student who unfortunately is still missing. She went to DR with a couple of friends for vacation, and they went out. The friends returned back to the hotel, but she didn't. And we spoke about the rules. You know, Vivian and I always spoke about the rules that took place when we went out with our friends in our once upon a time life. You know, did anything go, or did we have those spoken and unspoken rules that, listen, where you go, I go? And unfortunately, I guess this was a group of friends that either did not go over the rules before they left to go out, or they did and everybody just did what they wanted to do anyway. So we are still lifting prayers up for Kananki. I remember the pronunciation of her last name. Her first name is a little bit challenging. Kananski. We just pray that she's safe and that she returns back, whether it's to her dorm or to her home or back to the hotel where they were vacationing safely. And we just pray that we pay attention to our surroundings and who we're going out with, because Vivian brought up a really, really good point. You know, why was it okay for everyone else to return back to the hotel except her? You know, because now that I really think about it, following along that aspect and that thought, I couldn't see me and my friends, not someone that, you know, I just met through my friend, or someone I met at the bar, you know, a girlfriend I met at the bar or something like that, or somebody I don't really care for, but we could drink together. But, you know, outside of that, I don't want to be bothered with you. But my friend, me leaving to go home without my friend, especially my friend who I went with, you know, it's kind of still one thing when we all meet up there, you know, but we came here. And as Lady Tamika reminded us yesterday, one band, one sound, we're moving together. So I don't know. But my grandmother went to her grave reminding us that we don't have any friends. And she didn't always say it that politely. But for those of you who knew her, y'all know. Okay, we spoke about the guy who assaulted the 7-month pregnant woman on the J train. Just went up to her and just started punching her, and she suffered lacerations in her face and cuts and bruises and an aching right eye, but yet she did not go to the emergency room. Very interesting as to why she did not go to the emergency room. We had our own thoughts as to why she didn't go. It was brought up that maybe she didn't have insurance, which is a little crazy to me because she's 7 months pregnant. She's gonna need insurance to have that baby, right? I don't know. That's just my thoughts. I don't know. Okay. maybe she knew him and she didn't want to go to the hospital and have to answer any questions and give any names. And again, I was like, I thought that only happens with, maybe shot victims or stab wounds, especially if you get shot. You have to, they have to notify the authorities, and the police have to come and now question you and so on and so forth. And that's why a lot of people who are in the life, when they get shot, they don't go to the regular hospitals because they know they're going to have to answer these questions. But again, I don't know. I'm not in that life, thank the Lord. So I don't know. But yeah, just praying that she's okay as well. Even though, thank God, he did not hit her in her abdominal area where the baby is. That's still a lot, and I brought up, even when you're adrenaline, imagine you standing on the platform waiting for the train or getting off the train, somebody just comes and just starts punching you in the face. I mean, pregnant a lot or not, your adrenaline is just going, especially with you being a female and you're being assaulted by a man. Again, I'm just saying, I don't know. We then spoke about this whole Adam and Eve epiphany that the scientists have brought to our attention, that every human traces back to Adam and Eve, and there are elements in our body that are found in the earth's crust. And again, for those of us who read the Bible and understand that God is the creator of all things and how he created Adam, we knew that already. And Vivian brought up, well, that information wasn't for us. It was for those who, struggle with faith in science, making sense and how that coexists, and people who just straight up don't believe in God and believe in God creating us. It was just funny to read. And that information came from a source that endorses Christianity. So they went that theory. Okay. Then we got into a very interesting conversation between Pastor KL, Vivian, and myself when it comes to men. And how they strive for women that they know they can't keep up with. And Pastor KL just convinced himself that women are the reason why men strive after women that they can't keep up with. And Vivian and I, we weren't going for it because it just wasn't making any sense. If you missed it, you have to make sure you go back and watch it. Pastor KL thought he was doing something yesterday with sending me a live from Facebook, and it was a guy and a young woman having a very similar conversation. And this gentleman thought that he was shutting her down. And she didn't really speak as intellectual as she was making some good points, but she wasn't formulating her words together all that well. So it really didn't help for her to have such a compelling argument. But nonetheless, he was one of those men that just likes to try to trip women up and catch women out there and say, oh, this is why you ain't about nothing. And it's just like, okay, we have to make sure that we get it together, y'all. We have to make sure that we stand up, especially for those of us who call ourselves Christians. We have to make sure that we are not upholding our standards. We're upholding the standards of the Lord. Okay, because when people in the street, or even when other Christians try to come and challenge us, we need to be ready. But sanctify the Lord God in your hearts, and always be ready to give an account to everyone who asks you a reason for the hope that is in you with meekness and fear. That's from 1 Peter 3:15, one of our memory verses. I'm telling y'all, listen, I don't know about the church y'all go to, but we all serve the same God, right? Just like Lady Tamika said, one band, one sound. It is one Lord, one true living God, one begotten Son of God, which is Jesus Christ. And for those of us who possess the Holy Spirit, we really have no excuse, because one of the things that the Holy Spirit keeps reminding me of is you don't have to try to figure this out. Like, we be in the world. When we are of the world, when we really try to conform to these streets, we really trying to figure this thing out. Like, what do I do here? How do I do that? How do I do? And we have just the comfort and the peace of knowing that all I have to do is follow. I just have to follow God. Let me just follow you. We don't have to have the answers. We don't have, and that's what be messing us up. I know that's what be tripping me up a lot of the times. I be wanting to have the answers. And the answer is follow the Lord, Shontyce. Okay, so we got to make sure that we're staying on point with that. All right, let's get into this chat and make sure we check in. Now, this morning was hilarious because as I was setting up the show, I saw the little red notification on the comment section, and we got our first check-in at 6:37 this morning from Miss Ketty. Good morning, Ketty. How are you? Terrence? Vivian? Because Vivian, the other day, what was that, yesterday? Was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. She was coming for you, Terrence, coming for you, Ketty. She was like, nah, I'm going to be the first one. And now here's Ketty. Before she made her coffee, am I right, Ketty? Before Ketty made her coffee, she made sure she checked in. So good morning. Thank you. And this is the type of enthusiasm that the Lord is excited to see here on the platform that he has set up. And I'm sure that once Pastor Steph hears about this, she is going to be rolling on the floor. Good morning, Terrence. Good morning. I'm great. Hope that you're doing well too. I don't know, Terrence, you may have to check in with us at about 4 a.m. because Ketty ain't playing. She's trying to make sure she keeps her record of being the first one to check in on It's Due Time with Pastor Steph. Okay, we have to say a hearty good morning to our girl Anika, who ensures that our tech is on point. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Good morning, Anika. Good morning. And we have Lady Tamika. It's a great day to be alive. Amen. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Hope that you're feeling better as well, Lady Tamika. I know you were a bit under the weather yesterday as well. Make sure, guys, did y'all contact Pastor Steph yesterday on her Facebook page, Coach for Christian Life, COACHFOR Christian Life. Y'all have to make sure y'all contact her and let her know y'all miss her. I mean, I know y'all love seeing my beautiful brown face in the morning, but I'm not Pastor Steph. I'm not Pastor Steph. She gives that certain in the morning, and I'm just thankful that God and Pastor Steph has entrusted me to be with you guys again this morning. You know, Pastor Steph is doing okay, still a bit under the weather, but again, getting that well-needed rest that, you know, her body is requiring, because for those who don't know or realize, Pastor Steph does a lot. She does a lot. And if it was not for her, I would not be prepared at the drop of a dime to sit with you guys at any point. So we give her thanks for setting the tone. Hold on. Wait. Lady Tamika says, y'all all going to be team no sleep trying to check in. Yes, because everybody's going to be setting their alarm clocks for 4 a.m. just so they can be the first ones that Pastor Steph says good morning to in the morning. Oh, we got to check in for my boy Majesty. Good morning, King. Good morning. How are you? Now, how many of y'all brushed your teeth this morning? I don't know. That was just a question that came to mind. Because even though I'm on this side of the screen and y'all on that side of the screen, I still had to make sure I brush my teeth. I tried to eat a waffle real quick. I couldn't be sitting on here for an hour plus and my stomach growling. Because let me tell y'all something about my stomach. You'll hear it. And for those of y'all who know Shontyce, y'all know that I get hungry very often. And I'm not one of those females. You know those females that be like, oh, you know, I don't really eat like that. Don't tell me you taking me out to eat. I'm not expensive. I'm not cheap either, but I'm not expensive. But I'm going to eat. I'm gonna eat. Good morning, Teresa. How are you? How are you? Thank you for checking in and being with us on this beautiful Friday morning. Katie says, I didn't do it to win. I do it to take my notes. She did it to win. She did it to win. Now, listen, for those of you who missed when Pastor Steph was on, and she always highlights every so often how Ketty is the faithful note taker. If we ever need any information from previous episodes, we know who to tap into. Ketty documents everything by hand. She's not sitting there typing. I'm trying to get her to utilize her iPad a little more, y'all, and typity type, you know, but she just loves her pen to paper. And I'm not mad, but she did it to win too. Majesty said I didn't. You didn't brush your teeth, boy, go brush your teeth. But brush your teeth in front of the screen, because you need to make sure you stay tuned for everything, because it is Freestyle Friday, y'all. And let me tell y'all something. It is really freestyle for real today, because the news, Pastor Steph Love, she has designated Freestyle Friday, to mainly be about celebrity highlights, celebrity news, celebrity updates, celebrity. And I love her style, because she's not all TMZ-ish with it. She's not all shade room-ish with it, meaning, and they're pretty good. They get pretty good. You know, they're not demeaning or degrading. So let me rephrase. But she's not slanderish. She's not slanderish. She just gives some updates. But it's freestyle for real, because I couldn't really find anything that was worthy of It's Due Time with Pastor Steph. Like, I was like, God, I understand it's Freestyle Friday. We get to be a little more chill, a little more laid back this morning. But it was whack. Okay, it was horrible. So I'm gonna really need you guys to really interact with me this morning, because we're gonna have to show the new viewers that regardless of the fact, the Due Time crew, including the viewers, know how to get it going. I like that jacket in the background. Well, thank you. And it's nowhere near finished. I just pinned my S-Pack to that. But thank you. I can't wait until you guys get to see the finished product. And this jacket is being produced by It's Personalized, which is our main sponsor, your embroidery manufacturer. So when it is complete, I will make sure that I put it on display as well. Good morning, Vivian, my media partner. Good morning. How are you? You won't be on with me this morning, because it's the men. It's the men this morning. But it's all right, because you guys will be able to catch Vivian and myself tonight on With All Due Respect, right here on the same channel, and on Coach for Christian Life Facebook page, live tonight at 8:30 a.m. And we will be featuring some other beautiful women, highlighting that it is Women's Month. So make sure that you guys, did y'all tell a friend to tell a friend that we're on? If you didn't, please go make sure that you do, because we have to make sure we get into some well-needed PSAs that is going to educate us on how we need to take care of our bodies. So make sure you don't go nowhere. If you didn't brush your teeth in front of the screen right now as you tune in to this PSA. Okay.
One, for strawberries, add some salt to water and stir. After soaking for 10 minutes, worm eggs and dirt will come out on their own. 2, for bayberries, add 2 spoons of salt and 1 spoon of baking soda to water and soak for 10 minutes. Wait for the worm eggs to float up, then rinse a few times. 3, for raisins, soak them in warm water with a spoonful of starch for 5 minutes. The dirt will sink to the bottom. Rinse twice and let them dry. The taste remains unchanged. 4, for mulberries, rinse off the surface dirt with water. Grab a special bath bowl. Soak in a bowl of water with 2 spoons of salt for 6 minutes. Rinse thoroughly with water. This way, you won't consume pesticide residue. 5. For blueberries, soak them in water with a spoon of salt for 10 minutes. Do not wash off the white frost on the surface. It's more nutritious than the pulp. 6. For cherry tomatoes, add water to cover the tomatoes. Add some flour. Gently rub their skins. Their skins will become rosier. Rinse with clean water. Perfect. 7. For fuzzy peaches, grab a handful of salt and give them a salt bath. Rinse with clean water. The peach skin will become smooth and glossy. How to properly
Did he say worm eggs would come out? Now, I was just eating all week, actually. I've been eating strawberries. I really like strawberries, especially if they're nice and sweet. Well, I don't know anyone who likes bitter strawberries, but then again, you'd be surprised, okay? I've been eating fresh strawberries all week, and I thought I was doing something with the my cleaning regimen, but after hearing that once we clean the strawberries the way they just recommended, we'll see the worms come out. What? I don't know if I see worms coming out of my fruit, I will still eat it. I don't think so either, Vivian. I don't think so either. And that's what just happened. I was like, but wait, I've been eating strawberries all week. And I wasn't cleaning it like that. I was cleaning them. I'm sorry, y'all. My locks is going all kinds of ways. It is getting to me. I wasn't cleaning it like that. So now, this is why you need to bless your food. I don't care what you eat, how small the snack is, how big the meal is. Say grace. Because we just don't know what we are consuming. Like, what? Ew, yes. And I love strawberries. Yes. So wait, so what happens when we freeze them? Oh gosh, we have a whole shelf full of frozen strawberries right now. So do we defrost them and then clean them like this? I think we should. Y'all. How many of y'all eat fruit and your cleaning regimen was not like what we just watched? What is your favorite fruit? Put in the chat. What is your favorite fruit? I know a lot of fruits have different seasons. Like you can't really get watermelon like that in the wintertime. Or can you? I don't know, because we're black. Sometimes we act stereotypical, where we just want whatever fruit during whatever time of year. It don't matter if it's not in season. I know mangoes, a lot of the times, I need my mangoes to be sweet. Oh, my great-grandmother, you hear Pastor Steph speak about Pastor Burroughs all the time. Oh my goodness. She is the one who turned me on to mangoes. And I remember she would cut them and all the grandkids, all the great-grands would be fighting over the seed, because she would always leave the right amount of mango on the seed. And of course, I was the main one acting like I didn't eat in about 8 years. And I was the oldest. I'm the oldest. So I'd be knocking everybody out for the seed. But yes. Okay. Ketty says watermelon and cantaloupe. Now, cantaloupe, I haven't had cantaloupe in a while because there was a heavy recall on cantaloupe. Was it last summer? I think it was. Heavy recall on cantaloupe. So I haven't had cantaloupe in a while. But again, that is a fruit that it has to be sweet. Don't give me no bitter cantaloupe. Oh my goodness. You want to see my attitude change? Well, my attitude going to change regardless if I don't eat the way I really want to eat. But we're talking about sweet fruit right now. It has to taste a certain way. It has to be sweet, nice and cold cantaloupe. And I'm the type, like, if it's the wintertime, it's cold outside, my beverages can't be all that cold, especially water. Don't give me no ice cold water and it's 80 below zero outside. Not happening. The fruit, it can be kind of chill, but like cantaloupe tastes best when it is cold and sweet, y'all. I don't know about y'all. Green grapes. Green grapes are good. Now, we just had some green grapes come up in this house a couple of days ago, and those grapes were like the size of a doorknob. So I don't know what is happening with this fruit. Are grapes grown? I don't know what would be going on, but them grapes were humongous. I was like, where did they buy these from? Who made this? Who grew this? How is it done? Is it real? I don't know, because someone just tried to burst my bubble. I think it was last week talking about broccoli. Even though I didn't ask. Ugh. Yes, Lady Tamika, they were huge. When I opened the thing, I was like, well, who's trying to eat this? It's going to take you about 80 years just to chew it properly before it can properly digest. And then we wonder why we have GI issues, okay? Wait, I'm happy my wife cleans them like that, and I thought she was crazy. Now I got to go apologize to her. Wow. Yes. And for those of y'all who criticize those who clean, I'm the cleaner. Whether it's cleaning the house, cleaning the this, cleaning that. And that's what I say to my people all the time. Y'all thought I was bugged out when I wash my hands 800 times. When I say don't wear your shoes in the house. When I say don't do this, do that. When you see people clean and they seem erratic, as long as they're not killing you, because sometimes I can use enough bleach to knock everybody in the house out. But pay attention to what they're doing. There is a reason for their excessiveness at times. And I know that we're supposed to be, especially as Christians, making sure that we're doing things in moderation, and obsession should never be in any of our vocabularies or our actions. Oh my goodness. We have to make sure that we're on point. Kiwis are my new favorite. Yes. Not for me. Not for me. I don't know. I've always felt like kiwis an acquired taste. Even with me working at Cheesecake Factory, they had I believe they still have it, kiwi cheesecake. Never for me. We all know how you get when it comes to food. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna have to start reading these comments before I put it up. Okay. All right. Lady Tamika says, always questioned it because they have no seeds. Right. Another one of them things that make you go, Are they grown or are they made? I don't know, but I think somebody made those, because doorknobs are crazy. I don't even, how much were those grapes if they were that size? Because fruit has gone up. It has really, really gone up. So, I don't know, y'all. We gonna have to make sure we focus on cleaning these fruit. And again, God is not blessing us with this free information for us to still continue to do things the way that we want. I know it's so, and God has really been sustaining us, because remember back in the day, and it wasn't that long ago, but once upon a time, all you had to do was bring your fruit in the house, just run it under some cold or warm water, and you felt it was clean. Yeah, now God is showing, no, it's not anymore. I'm gonna need you to really clean. So if you're not in the mood to really clean your fruit, do not buy it, because you see what you'll be consuming. Did y'all see all the dirt that was coming from, what was that, the berries? So either eating dirt or worms. We can't be lazy. We cannot be lazy. God is allowing us to see what we are consuming. So make sure you're in the mood to properly clean your fruit. Clean that fruit, okay? In highlight of it being Black History Year and Women's Month, we are continuing on with our PSAs, making sure that we are highlighting the trailblazers that made it possible for us to be here today doing what we do. So let's see what we have on today for our Black History / Women's Month information.
Ever learned about. Frances Ellen Watkins. Harper was a pioneering Black poet, author, and social reformer in the 19th century. Born free in Baltimore, Maryland, Harper used her literary talents to fight for abolition of slavery, women's rights, and racial equality. Her first collection of poetry, Forest Leaves, published in 1845 when she was 20, showcased her eloquence and passion for justice. She lectured widely on the anti-slavery circuit, often sharing the stage with leading abolitionists like Frederick Douglass. Harper also co-founded the National Association of Colored Women, advocating for Black women's rights and education.
All that poetry and making sure you fight. All the time when we learn about these trailblazers, we learn how they were abolitionists fighting to get rid of all of these silly laws and rules that just kept us down. And when we think about how we try to keep ourselves down, like, put in the comments, please, if you've ever tried to talk yourself out of doing something good, especially for those of us, again, who are Christians and God has told us, I need you to do this, I need you to do that. And we just question it all the time. All the time we're doubting ourselves, we're doubting God, we're questioning if we can really do this. We're questioning, and here these people had limited resources. They had almost nothing, and they fought to do so much out here, making moves with poetry, out here making moves and making sure that they get rid of, again, all these laws that kept women down, all these laws that kept Black people in general, and there were a lot of, I know it's Black History Year, and we're celebrating that, but there were a lot of people on the other side of the fence who they didn't agree with the whole suppressing of the Black culture. They actually weren't afraid to stand up for what they felt wasn't right. We just had to, come in and really, 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 really take over. But you had those few that marched with Dr. King and did this. We really have to make sure that we're not putting ourselves down, because we have everything. We keep saying, us millennials, a lot of times we say, thank God there was no social media back when we were teenagers, because, man, a lot of the stuff that we did, had that been televised, has you been able to log onto a social platform and watch videos, and man, we wouldn't have a whole lot under wraps the way that we do now. But definitely giving God thanks for those who said, you know what, I'm able to do such and such, I'm gonna do such and such with whatever resources I have. So we really have no excuse. There is no excuse for any of us to be able to do anything, and we're not doing it. Okay, let's get into today's news, because like I said, we really gonna have to make sure that we indulge in the conversations we know we can indulge in, because it was a whole lot. Now, for those who don't know, we have, I'm sure that you do, we have Miss Tiana Taylor and Mr. Iman Shumpert. I never realized his last name. But Mr. Iman Shumpert, who has gotten their divorce. Their divorce was finalized back in July of last year, July of 2024. And it was kind of a messy divorce. And I was just having this conversation with my neighbor the other day. because we were talking about her sister getting married. And I was like, it's sad because sometimes, well, a lot of the times, people are spending all this money to get married, and they don't even end up staying together. And we've heard of people who have gone through divorces, especially when it's been such a long, drawn out, messy divorce. But divorces take time and money. I can't just wake up and look over at you and say, I'm good off you. All right, so I got my new boyfriend, you got your new girlfriend. I'm going to take this, you take that. Like, no. And a lot of times somebody is petty. We've heard of Mary J. Blige, her last divorce, and she has to pay, what was it, $30,000 a month in alimony. Like, what? Who are you, sir? I never even heard of you outside of her. And she's paying for you to live. I don't know. It's cheaper to stay together and just be unhappy and deal with your mess. But their divorce has been finalized, and there have been some settlements that have taken place between these two. Now, they share two gorgeous daughters. I'm not sure if you ever saw a picture of them together as a family or just their kids, but two gorgeous daughters that they have. And I don't know, I always thought that these two look cute together. Tiana Taylor, Iman Shumpert. I always thought that they look cute together. But let's see what she got in her settlement. So her mother, Tiana Taylor's mother, I believe her name is Nikki. Yes, Nikki Taylor. She did an interview on The Breakfast Club recently, and she spoke on some of the things that her daughter, Tiana Taylor, received in the divorce settlement. And she is due to receive not one, not two, not three, but four luxury homes. And these homes are valued at over $10 million. She will receive a one-time 7-figure payment. Now, I don't know how that works. So is that like you get alimony? So alimony is every month you pay me. So is this just like a one-time shot? She's going to get this 7-figure payment. I don't know. Wasn't he a ball player before he started acting? If you watch The Chi, he was on The Chi. Oh, spoiler alert. I done spoiled it. I'm sorry. He was on The Chi. He did pretty all right. He did all right for the character that they had him in. The character wasn't too dominant. Wasn't too laid back. When he first started out, his character was very, very subtle. And, sometimes, and we read about it all the time, a lot of times these writers in these sitcoms or series, their intention may only be to have the character in for 1 or maybe 2, 3 episodes. But if the actor or actress does really well, they'll become a more permanent cast member, or at least be in a few more episodes than originally. Yes, okay, so he was a basketball player. Okay, all right, I thought so. I'm trying to get into sports, y'all. So a lot of the times, if you're an athlete, I do not know you unless you have endorsements for commercials or in movies. So bear with me, y'all. Okay, so she's getting the 4 luxury homes. She's getting the one-time 7-figure payment. She's getting some luxury vehicles, and these vehicles are including a Maybach, which is valued at $300,000, a Mercedes Sprinter, which is valued at about $70,000, and a tour bus. Now, my question is, y'all had a tour bus already? Now, I know Tiana Taylor does a lot. She does a lot. She does her acting. She does her music. She does a lot. Iman, he stopped basketball, right, altogether, and now he's just pursuing the acting and maybe something else that he does, because a lot of these times, these entertainers, they're not only one note Charlies. They do multiple things at multiple different times. Well, at the same time, I should say. I'm sorry. They do multiple things. So I'm not sure, but she's also able to maintain full ownership of her businesses. And we have heard a lot of the times, again, i.e. Mary J. Blige or other, couples that unfortunately broke up, that a lot of times they have to split and part with their businesses, like for their personal brand. And I always wondered, how did that work? If I already have Shontyce's brand when I get married to you and now we get divorced, how do you now get a percentage of Shontyce's brand? This was already established before we even went on our first date. Good morning, sir. Good morning. Good morning. How are you? Thank you for checking in and for tuning in. Yeah, so, but one of her benefits, Tiana Taylor benefits, is that she will continue to maintain full ownership of her businesses. It's saying here that someone did leak that Iman, the ex-husband, allegedly he is required to pay $8,000 a month for child support for their two daughters, in addition to paying for their school tuition. Now, I don't have any children of my own. I did not carry anyone. I did not push anyone out. Okay, wait. He is a rapper now, and he just released a song recently. Oh, okay. So he's into music too. Okay, nice. Okay, so he's doing his acting thing. He's doing the music. Okay. So he went from athlete to entertainer. Nice. Okay, now real quick, going back to this child support and private school tuition. Now, the $8,000, and I got some parents in the room, so please, I have some millennial parents in the room as well, so please chime in, let me know what y'all think about what I just read that they settled on for the children, and my personal opinion, your personal opinion. I know children can be very expensive. $8,000 a month that just goes to the children. Like, that's not including rent. That's not including mortgage. That's just to sustain. Now, there's only max 31 days in a month. And a lot of times I feel like these settlements that go with, okay, you have to pay, I don't see, I'm giving myself a thumbs up. You have to pay this amount in child support, and not only with celebrities, because I've heard about this with regular everyday people, and especially when they got these kids in these private schools. And I'm like, okay, for one, I understand you want to put your child in a private school, but if you cannot afford it, you cannot afford it. Now, I know in this case, we're talking about two successful celebrities who more than likely can pay for this private school tuition. What is $8,000 going towards? Is that going towards a luxurious lifestyle, or is that going towards the necessities of life? Because if you do grocery shopping for a month, and let me tell y'all something about Pastor Steph, she will have your cabinets full, your freezers, your refrigerators full for $200-$300 a month. And that's including meat, starches, canned goods, beverages, and snacks. It's a gift. Because half of us can't go to the supermarket and not spend $150 and come back with 3 items. So it is a gift, y'all, that Pastor Steph has. What are you spending $8,000 on 2 children for if it's not a luxurious lifestyle? Food, clothes. If you teach your children how to take care of their clothes, and I'm not saying that they don't, I'm just trying to rationalize this out in my mind. If you teach your children how to take care of their clothes, listen, I'm 39, I still got some dresses from when I was 14, okay? That still look up to par. They don't look worn out, ain't no strings hanging, one of the straps are not loose. It still looks in mint condition, because I had to learn how to take care of my clothes, because Pastor Steph was not buying me a whole new wardrobe every month, whether I wanted it or not. You better make it work. So that's how I grew up. That even as an adult, I still take care of my clothes. So, all right, you got food, you got clothes, you have what? Outings. You have a birthday one time a year. So out of 12 months, only 1 month is your birthday. So even if I splurged a little every year on your birthday, that's still $8,000. I don't know, y'all. Put in the comments what you think. But because again, you don't have to literally have your own child for certain things to make sense or not make sense. But this is just like, what is happening? What is happening? I don't know. There was a statement that was made. Quote, "It's awful strange that the case is sealed from a divorce that was finalized in July of 2024, but all of this information as to what she allegedly gets is public this week." End quote. Another one of those things that make you go, what do y'all think? Travel expenses to visit all the houses, right? Like you have multiple houses and now you need to pay to get to each. I don't know. But this quote here was rather interesting. It's awfully strange that a divorce case that was sealed. And I can understand you sealing a divorce case because it's like we're celebrities. We don't need everyone in our business. I can respect that. But now what she gets has been put out there. I don't know. A lot of the times, especially for the women, it gets all information leaks at some point. Never know who's going to say what, especially if it means giving them the spotlight or the limelight for some time, Okay, so we have an update in regards to Gene Hackman and his wife. Now, for those of you who remember, a few weeks ago, they found actor Gene Hackman and his wife dead, and the dog dead in their apartment, and they did not know the cause of death. They had no idea what was going on, and they're saying that, okay, so Gene Hackman, I didn't even realize he was that old. He was 95, and his wife, I believe, was 63, and they lived in Santa Fe, Mexico. And I'm sorry, she was 65. And they're saying that he died of natural causes. Well, both of them died of natural causes. I'm sorry, I'm trying to find the okay, so Gene Hackman died of a heart disease, and he was in an advanced state of Alzheimer's. And okay, so they're saying that his wife passed away first, and he wasn't even aware of it. Wow, that's crazy. That is crazy. Hantavirus, and I believe that's what she died from, is a rare respiratory illness, and that's caused by exposure to contaminated rodent droppings, urine, and saliva that initially presents flu-like symptoms. Okay, wait, I'm gonna have to read that again. Hantavirus is a rare respiratory illness, and that respiratory illness is caused by exposure to contaminated rodent droppings, urine, and saliva that initially presents flu-like symptoms. Aren't rodents like mice and stuff? So they were around contaminated rodent droppings, urine, and saliva. This is why these sudden deaths and things are really concerning. And because it's like, all right, I want to say they could have kept this under wraps, but it's just like another one of those things that's just like, wait, what? And really have you scratching your head, because we're speaking on rodents, meaning like mice, and that's rodents, right, y'all? Well, where y'all at? I'm gonna need to make sure I get some confirmation, because we live in New York. We live in New York City, and Vivian has done a lot of socially conscious news in regards to which borough they say has the high amount of rats and mice and bugs and this and that, right? And we see, especially going to the city, that I know for me, when it looks like your garbage is piled up in your restaurant, I don't want to eat there, because garbage just attracts rodents, of course. Clutter attracts rodents. So now you have cluttered garbage. There's a whole lot of rodents you're attracting. Okay. So we understand that even without our knowledge, there are times when we're around, whether it's in the street or whatever, but rodent droppings, feces. If you take the subway, if you take the train, you don't know what you're inhaling. You have no idea the smells that, just thinking about it. I'm sorry. That wasn't even me like faking. That was just thinking about it. It's all of the things, people's breath and all. You're just taking all that in. All that's going in here. It is going in here. And thank God we've been able to walk out and still be alive to sit here on It's Due Time with Pastor Steph this morning. So you're breathing in all of these toxins, all this contaminated stuff. And this is what killed her. This is what killed her. Now, I don't know what it is to live in New Mexico, but I'm sure that they weren't living in the slums. Well, I can assume that they weren't living in the slums. So to know that she passed away first, she's laying up in there, because they said that they found her in the bathroom, passed out on the floor on her side with a heater next to her head. So she's in the bathroom dead. He's sitting in another room suffering from, she had hantavirus pulmonary syndrome. That's what that's called. Okay. And he's suffering from some type of heart condition and Alzheimer's. And he's not even aware that his wife is dead. And now he dies. They didn't say what killed the dog. I'm not seeing what killed the dog. But they were married for 33 years. So this was a real solid relationship. And unfortunately, some maintenance workers found them, and it's just really like, wow. And this is why we really have to make sure that we're giving God thanks for every second that we have, even this very moment right now, because people are literally just dropping. Pastor Steph speaks all the time about her being rushed to the OR and the doctors telling her, you got 20 minutes before we have to get you into surgery, or you may not make it, or you won't be here. And there were a few times she was walking around here and stuff was going on in her body that could have and should have and would have killed her if God did not have his hand on her. Stuff's just leaking all in her stomach and everything, and she just walking around. It wasn't always painful, so she was so unaware until it got painful and she had to be rushed to the hospital. So we give God thanks for all of the time that there's so many things going on in our bodies that we just have no knowledge of at all. Okay, we have a travel influencer. And Pastor Steph, she just got finished saying, I believe it was earlier this week, how every time we turn around, we're going online and we're seeing these influencers. Everybody's passing away, regardless of the age, regardless of their occupation, regardless of their occupation, they're just dropping like flies. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you're doing. And a lot of people like to call themselves influencers, but what are you really influencing? What are you really influencing? But this here was a mom of 3, and she ran an Instagram account called 3 Kids Travel. And this account would just chronicle their adventures, her kids, and her husband. And they would travel, and she would, post the photos and the videos, and, as to where they would be going. And hold on, I was trying to see about getting multiple, because again, got to read multiple articles if we can, to make sure we're getting as much information as we can. So she passed away on Wednesday, and there was some type of like tragic car wreck where she suffered from severe burns. They were on their way to a wedding in Cancun, and on the way to the wedding, she was involved in a 10-car pileup. Oh my gosh. A 10-car pileup. And I was trying to pull the photo up, but I'm not going to complain. I wasn't able to pull the photo up because the photos of her car was just ridiculous. But they do have a few quotes here, and I would like to read those. They say, quote, "We are absolutely heartbroken to share the news of Elisa's passing tonight. She held on so long and fought so hard because she went a week so she passed this Wednesday, the previous Wednesdays when she got into the accident. But she fought so hard against an impossibly difficult set of circumstances. And absolutely everything that could have been done for her was done. And we are so grateful she was able to make it back home to say goodbye to her family before leaving us." Okay, so she was able to travel back home. They were able to get her back home from Cancun. And, I'm sure this is a huge hit to say that her and her husband on their way to a wedding in Cancun, and it said the truck was full of hot asphalt and it hit them, flipping their car, and it trapped Elise underneath. And when she got trapped underneath, it dumped all the steaming hot asphalt on top of her and on top of the people in the cars in front of her. But they were saying that it was just a miracle that she even survived that and was able to be rushed to the hospital. And again, I just brought up praying over our food, no matter how small the snack, how big the meal. If you do not pray for traveling mercies before you leave your house, and not this as you're walking out the door, God, please watch over me. No, like really sit and really ask God when you get in your car, before you turn that ignition on, or after you turn the ignition on, before you put that car in drive, you really sit and talk to God and ask him to keep you away from all hurt, harm, and danger. Pastor Steph has taught us what it means to have targeted prayer. Someone called and asked me to pray for them for their traveling mercies. And I was like, okay, and started praying for certain things. And as certain words was coming out of my mouth, I'm saying to myself, you don't have to say that because they're not traveling in that way. But I was like, you know what? When we pray, it's not us who's supposed to be praying. It's supposed to be the Holy Spirit that gives us words. So let me go with it. Let me flow with it. And come to find out, I was hitting on the right things. I didn't know. But that's why we're not supposed to be the ones praying. We're not supposed to be the ones sitting there thinking, what should I say? When we give God our posture physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, the Holy Spirit is going to give us words to say. And that's not to say that she did not pray. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is we dodge things like this a lot more when we do go to the Lord and ask him to cover us, ask him to watch over our driving, ask him to watch over us as passengers. Because as a passenger, we have a job to not distract the driver. that's why it's so important that when we talk about these kids on these school buses, why it's so important to have a matron, because these kids need to be tamed. The bus driver needs to be focused on the road. He can't be focused on the road and focused on little Johnny who's flipping from road to road, and little Nikki who's flicking someone's hair and throwing food to the front. We have to be very careful. So unfortunately, this mom is no longer with her family. But as they said, thank God that it wasn't a sudden death. She was able to be transported back to her home and spend at least a little bit of time with her family before God closed her eyes. So we have to be on point. But let's talk to our men. Do we have Pastor Jeff on with us? Pastor Jeff, are you with us? You washing your hands? Yeah, he's washing his hands. He don't know what he's doing. Let's say good morning to Pastor KL. Good morning, Pastor KL.
Good morning. Good morning. You caught me. You caught me again.
I know. I'm like, what do you mean, chicken?
I told you.
Go over the health parts.
Listen, I gotta have a chicken. I'm black.
You know what? Talk about stereotypical. Here we try to highlight it being Black History Year, when you get on in the morning eating chicken.
The food of the people.
Pastor KL is not the spokesperson for us, y'all. He is not the spokesperson for us. Oh my goodness. Okay, so Pastor KL, you missed the fruit that we are supposed to be, the way we're supposed to be cleaning our fruit. They're saying we need to make sure we soak in salt and water and what was it, baking soda or something, because it gets all of the worms out of the fruit. Did you know it was worms in the strawberries?
No, I don't eat strawberry, but no, I didn't know that.
Oh my goodness. You need to, when we finish, you need to go back and watch, because the amount of dirt that was coming off the fruit, the berries and everything, it was like, and here we go.
I just eat grapes and plums, and I wash them thoroughly.
How do you wash them?
Just with water. I'm not using baking soda or Ivory soap and all that stuff. You know.
See? This is why we are not going to rise as the people.
I got you.
Because you have to make sure. That's what I was saying. Remember, before, all we had to do was just buy our fruit, bring it home, rinse it under the cold water, and we good.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
No, not anymore. Now we got to soak. And I remember my youngest sister saying it to me, and the first time she said it, I was like, what? I'm not doing all that. And now look, she don't share chicken. I do. I just don't share my chicken. Okay?
Oh, wow. 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 Tell it. Whoever that is, tell it.
that was Terrence. He trying to come. I don't know, but wait, it looks like we have Pastor Jeff on with us this morning. Let's see if he's ready. Good morning, Pastor Jeff.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. It sounds like you over there washing them dishes. Oh my goodness. So we just got finished really quick going over how they just displayed to us the proper way to wash our fruit. We have to make sure we wash them and soak them in salt and water and baking soda and all that, and it gets the worms out of the strawberries and all that excess dirt off of blueberries and tomatoes and all of that. Do you wash your fruit?
I just rinse it. I can't say I really wash it.
See, we got to get into the washing, because once upon a time, all we had to do was rinse it. And now we got worms and stuff we got to be concerned with.
Well, you know, the early bird catches the worm.
We're not going to ask the chicken eater if the early bird catches the worm. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so really quick, let's go over these news stories before we get into our main topic. So we had Tiana Taylor and her ex-husband Iman Shumpert, and they just got finished sharing all that she will be receiving in this divorce settlement, and that includes 4 luxury homes. that equal to over $10 million, a one-time six-figure payment, luxury vehicles, and that's including a $300,000 Maybach, a $70,000 Mercedes Sprinter, and a tour bus. And she's been granted $8,000 in child support every month for their two daughters, in addition to him helping to pay with their private school tuition. Pastor Jeff, what do you think about those settlement terms in this divorce?
That's what he got, right?
No, that's what she got.
From him?
From him.
Oh, heck no. If it was the other way around, I'd be like, get that money. Now, let me stop. You know, I don't, you know, I don't understand it. If she didn't earn it, you know, she don't deserve it. And if it was vice versa, it's a come up. And I don't think it's fair. I think whatever they built together should be split. But outside of that, it should be whoever built that. So.
Okay. What do you think, Pastor KL? Do you think that these were fair settlement terms?
No, not at all. Not at all. First of all, I'm trying to figure out what these children need with $8,000 a month. That's what I'm trying to figure out. The best school in the world, they don't need $8,000 a month. You know, and then they you know, I always talk on here. You got to know your children. They probably ain't that bright. So why would you put $8,000 into a child that's not that bright? You know, that's just a waste of money. But what I did find out just a couple of weeks ago, funny enough, you know, because I would say, well, you know, if you get into a relationship where, let's say, the man is already established and he has a house and stuff like that, and you want to get a divorce, she can't get nothing because she only comes in with what she came in with. But that's not true anymore. Now she can still get a good portion of your house. Man, this ain't right. Well, I'm going back to the shack.
But that's what I was asking too, because the $8,000 doesn't include the private school tuition. So what is it that you need, even with the two daughters? What is it that you need? There's only 31 days in a month max. What do you need with $8,000? Now, you are two fathers, two active fathers, active in your children's lives. What do you think you would really need $8,000 a month for?
Listen, I've been through it with my oldest daughter back in the days. You know, they gave my daughter's mother so much money, and they didn't leave me, you know, with enough to keep my stuff going. And it was unfair, and it didn't matter. And I didn't even marry her. And when I took her back to the court, the judge, who was a woman judge, who also was a lesbian, okay?
Oh wow.
She turned around and was like, just for taking her back into court, now you got to pay. Not only you paying this child support, you got to pay child care costs. You know, and yeah, they railroaded me, and I was always a good father. My daughter tell you that, and my daughter's mother later on had to intervene to keep them from locking me up because I couldn't keep up with all the payments.
Oh.
She had to eventually shut it down and tell them, this is not fair. You know, you're killing the man.
The man I'm taking to court. All right. Have mercy. Oh my goodness. Pastor KL, real quick, what could you calculate in your mind $8,000 that your children would need a month?
Nothing. This is why the men are quitting their jobs. I'm just being honest with you.
No,
this is why they quit their jobs, because they you know, Pastor Jeff just said, you know, they were taking all his money that he couldn't sustain himself. Well, if I can't sustain yourself, I need to find a hustle where I don't have to pay the cost of nothing. And then, you know, if you're going to be a good father, you're going to help out your child anyway. You know what I mean? But listen, if you pay me $8,000, then that means it's 1 for you, 5 for me. You know what I mean? The wife is not spending all that money on the children.
Mm-hmm.
It's unbelievable in her house. She got wigs all over the house. Thank you.
I did leave that job. I was a correction officer, and after 9 years, I stopped going to work, and they kept me on on the pay for 3 years out on sick leave until they fired me. Okay, I was not going back. I lost it. I
Wait, you were on sick leave for 3 years?
3 years.
What kind
They
of
put
sickness did you have?
they put me in the newspaper. Giuliani had me in the newspaper as the #1 sick leave abuser at that time. This this was the early '90s. I
You
was in
was
the
you was
newspaper.
you was a high functioning COVID patient.
Right.
Yeah, but
The very first one.
I went out on stress. I let him take my gun, everything. I went out on stress, and I would not come back.
Wow.
And
So wait, what?
I kept going back to court to try to stop that. And I said to myself, I'm not gonna go out there, risk my life in the jails for you to give all my money to this woman. And she only did it because I had gotten married to another woman. So she was bitter.
Mm,
You know, all those years we took care, the kid, and then she turned around and do that because she was bitter. But in the end, we friends because she took me out of the system, and we were able to work it out. Now my daughter's 38 years old now.
wow. Wow. Wait, so were you getting paid during that whole 3 year sick leave?
Oh no, that's when I really became a hustler, man. I got my hustle on. I started buying houses and cutting them up and renting rooms, and I started loan sharking.
Loan sharking.
Yeah, the criminal in me really came out during that time.
Pastor Jeff became a loan shark.
I did over there in South Jamaica. I was lending a lot of money and getting a lot of interest.
The struggle is real.
Oh goodness!
Money the government couldn't track.
Pastor Steph always says, Pastor Jeff gonna give us a story. Oh my good loan shark. Good. Wait. So what was there ever a time someone didn't pay you back?
Oh yeah. But I wasn't. I wasn't gonna be one of those who's gonna hurt you. I was making so much interest. I just took the losses.
Wow. Not many loan sharks doing that.
Well, I was not going to become a murderer or anything like that. So,
Pastor KO said you weren't a good businessman.
I'm disappointed in you now, Jeff.
Listen, I had my limits. I wouldn't sell drugs and I wouldn't kill people. So I had my limits, man.
Thank God.
But break a leg or something. Make an example.
You wanted him to go into a life of assault.
Something.
I only lent to people that were on welfare that I could hold their welfare card.
Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Oh, well, thank you, gentlemen. Woo. I didn't know that was going to come out of Tiana Taylor getting $8,000 a month for child support. But I came across a video yesterday that was rather interesting and a tad bit concerning. And for those who remember the group In Vogue, there was one of the reasons why that group was so dynamic is because there was no lead singer, because all four of those women could sing. But you had Dawn, who was the first one to leave the group, and she also became a part of oh my goodness, what was the name of the group she was in with Raphael Sadiq from Tony? I forgot, but she was in a group with him for a little bit and didn't really hear too much about her in between her leaving In Vogue and that time. And I didn't really hear too much of anything from her or about her since she left that group with Raphael Sadiq until I came across this video yesterday. And we are going to watch this right now and see what was going on here.
Almost 3 years, I have been living in my car. I said it. Oh my God, it's out. I've been living in my car. Oh my gosh. If you remember, if you guys were with me, in 2020, I did like 105,000 interviews. And in the interim, I was living with my parents in Vegas. And that was wonderful until it wasn't. I love my mom, but she became very angry. And a lot of her anger she was taking out on me, and I was her target all the time. And I was like, I can't deal with this. Like, I respect her too much. Let me get out of here. And I was sleeping in my car for maybe about a month in Vegas. And then the guy that was co-managing me at the time was living in LA. And he said, you need to come back to LA. Okay. And he said that I could stay with him. And so I was like, okay. He's like, I don't have a lot of room, but I'll make room for you. And then when I got to his place, he actually didn't have room for me. So it turned into, okay, well, I'm going to put you in a hotel for the night. And that one night turned into 8 months. Oh my God, you guys. Because every apartment that I looked at, every single time I looked at a place, I would call him and I'm like, okay, can you meet me here? I would tell him ahead of time, of course. And then he wouldn't meet me there until I would take video and send it to him. And he's like, no, oh my God, this neighborhood, I hate it. And I felt like he was playing games, and I knew he was playing games, and I wasn't the one. I'm like, come on, I'm trying to make this easier on you because financially, I know it's got to be hard. You're paying your rent and you're paying my hotel. His apartment was $1,700 a month. And then my hotel was over $3,000. Yep. So, and I was always stressed every week because he would pay weekly for the hotel. So every week I was like, oh my God, can you afford it? Are you okay? And he's like, no, I can't, but I'm getting it together. What? You're the one who said to go to the hotel and you're not approving any of the apartments. Like, it would be so much cheaper to just get me into an apartment. Like, what's the problem?
So we have Miss Dawn from the legendary iconic group In Vogue, who's been living in her car for 3 years. And she's speaking on her struggle with her former manager not being able to afford paying his $1,700 a month rent and paying her $3,000 a week hotel stay, because she could no longer stay with her parents. Pastor Jeff,
Mm-hmm.
do you remember the group In Vogue?
Of course.
Did you like the group?
Yes.
Is this
Feels
shocking?
like we dinosaurs.
I wasn't saying it like that. Now, if it was like a group that came on 2000s, then I would be asking you like that. But is it shocking to hear someone who comes from a group like that is now saying she's been living in her car for 3 years?
No, because I know a lot of people in that life, and that's where they've squandered their money. They have, not made good decisions, and a lot of them are actually living like that now. When I was living in Cali, I ran into a lot of people that had names out there that were living in their cars or living in those places, storage places as their house. And you could do it out there because the weather stays pretty good out there.
Right. Pastor KL, are you shocked to hear about Miss Dawn being homeless?
Not at all. Being in the music field, I mean, I'm like Jeff. I know a lot of folks who squander their money. There's a party every night. People don't. I say it all the time. People don't think it's going to rain until it rains in their backyard. I don't know. Now, me and my dad and my mom, we got a great relationship. I'd have to figure out how I'm going to live in that basement. You ain't got no place else to go but the car. The basement look good. It feel good. You know what I mean? A blow up mattress is okay. I don't see how you argue with folks who are trying to help you. And what point are you proving? You know what I mean? That you got heat in the car? Is that the proof? I don't know.
I tell my son that all the time. He keeps talking about, I'm going to leave, I'm going to go. And I'm just like, bruh, I've been there. I've lived in my car, when I was younger. So you know what, you better stay where your bread is buttered.
That's right. Otherwise, you'll eat toast.
Uh-huh.
We have Terrence who was asking, why didn't he have her with him? They did not make that much money back then compared to now. Look at Michael Jordan, and they did not either. That's why they talk down on the new guys. Okay, so we know like now a lot of the entertainers don't make money unless they perform, because
Right.
especially now, like at least back then, you can make a dollar off of record sales. There are no record sales now. Everything is streaming. They don't make any money from streaming. So unless they're literally performing, these entertainers don't make any money. And I used to work in a concert theater back in like 2009 on the Grand Concourse, Paradise Theater. You guys probably know about that. And they used to have a lot of concerts. Most of the concerts wouldn't be like current entertainers. A lot of them were old entertainers. And a lot of them were like 90s flashback concert, this flashback. So you would have like one concert, it would be SWV, Avant, this one, that one, coming together to do a show. And then you would have Deborah Cox and Tamia and Kelly Price, and they did a show. And because everybody needs to make their money. If I go on Apple Music right now and download your music, you're not making any money from that at all. So she says that her manager, well, she made sure to put in her video, her former manager says that, she kept sending him places for, I guess he was going to be paying for her apartment. But every time she sent him a place, he had something negative to say about either the area or something. But he was struggling to pay this $3,000 a week hotel stay. Does that make any sense, Pastor Jeff?
Yeah. Just because he's her manager, that mean he has the money. That don't mean he paid.
No, not that he doesn't make sense that he struggled. Does it make sense that he stepped in to do that at all?
I mean, a manager is supposed to be pretty close to the client. I mean, usually you ask even a family member to be your manager or your good friend. So that's not unusual.
Okay. What do you think, Pastor KL?
Unusual. Unusual. Just like I think I said it yesterday, just because you paid for it, don't mean you can afford it. You know what I mean? And it starts off as a good gesture. Come on down, I can help you out. You can stay here. First of all, you already knew you couldn't stay here. I live in a one-room flat. You know what I mean? So there was no room for you to stay here. So now I'm gonna put you in a hotel, and it lasts for 8 months. I'm already depleted. I'm killing myself. So what I'm managing is managing my money to pay for you. So I'm not making nothing. Just because you paid for it does not mean you can afford to keep it up.
Yes, because she said she was living with her parents in Vegas. And because her mom was so angry, she had to leave, and she was sleeping in her car. And the manager called and said, you should come back to LA. So why are you telling me to come back to LA like you about to set me up?
Did mama say get out? If she didn't say get out, she wasn't that mad. I'm okay. I'm okay. Listen, my parents was mad at me a lot of times. I didn't go anywhere. I went to the room. Go to your room. Okay. I'll go to the room.
No, it's true, because I'm like, Pastor Steph and I have had some, we don't argue often, but when we do, me and that lady can go at it. But
and you still there. And you still there.
Because guess what? God
look at God.
Say he has released me from this house yet.
Look at God.
So I'm going to leave here to go where? To a bunch of people where we're going to be arguing all the time. Because that's what people do. People love to give you their ideas and then leave you to figure out their ideas. Oh, so you should come here to do what?
Right.
To do what? I was more comfortable sleeping in my car in Vegas. than to come here and watch you struggle to pay this hotel bill. And then whoever idea was for me to go and look for a place because you're supposedly going to pay for it because I ain't got no money. And now I'm wasting my time going to look at all these different properties, all these different apartments, just for you to claim you don't like it. And it really may be because you can't afford it.
And you're not a solo artist, so you're not even giving me shots. You don't. I don't have no venues. Listen, the old artists, you see them in Atlantic City, you see them in Las Vegas in the casinos. You see Blue Magic. No one even heard of Blue Magic no more. You know what I mean? They don't even have the magic, but they out there and they singing somewhere. What you doing with this girl who's been in 2 groups? She ain't saying she not even worth her weight. She needed to stay in the car.
He said they don't even have the magic. Wait, this Pastor Steph, myself, and my grandmother went to a 70s review, and the whole 2 hours we were just sitting there laughing because each group they called out, one of the members in one of the groups was in a wheelchair, and we was like, he get his money. He said, listen. The rest, somebody else in this group gonna wheel me out onto the stage, and we're gonna sing these songs, and we're gonna make this money.
It was a geriatric review.
Yes, and actually, Blue Magic was there that night too. Wait, we have a comment from Terrence says, "Facts. If they did not kick you out, then you should woman up and let her vent till you get on your feet." Sometimes you got to deal with, and listen, and I say this to myself a lot of times periodically because the world, the streets now says if you're a certain age, if you're not doing this, if you don't have that, if you're not in this place, then you're not grown, then you don't really have. And I'm 39 and I still live in my mother's house and I see God still has me here. One of the reasons is to protect me from a lot of the stuff that's going on out in the world. Because a lot of times I try to imagine myself. I always said even from 19, I said, Mom, when I leave from here, it's for me to go buy a home. I'm not going to leave from your house to go rent someone's apartment. I'm not doing that. That makes no sense to me. No shade to anyone who does it, but for me, that made no sense. One of the reasons is because just picture me arguing with the landlord. That ain't gonna go too well. Everybody getting evicted. I'm not living in somebody's basement, which means I'd be in somebody's building, which means no, I didn't. God intentionally had my mother take me out of the buildings and raise me in a house. So already I'm gonna be hostile about taking an elevator, about being on a staircase, or it's just too much. It's just too much for me. So a lot of times you have to understand where you just may need to be at a certain point in your life. And if for whatever reasons, whether it was, as Pastor Jeff and Pastor KL said, bad decisions you made that had to where you didn't really have anything else, and you had to go back to your parents, maybe because that's where you were supposed to be at that time. And now you let somebody who couldn't support you talk you into going to another state. And now you got a bigger headache than your mother arguing with you. But okay, so Pastor Jeff already said what he told his son. And I think, Pastor Jeff, your daughter's a little too young yet to be talking about she leaving. So
Oh, she talks to sometimes.
Oh, what?
So and I show her the door, and I said, only walk out with what you own. And I said that means you got to get out there butt naked.
Wait, so Pastor KL, and you speak about this a lot, but if one of your children said they needed to come back and stay with you for a while,
no backseat. I'm sorry, no backseat. I don't have prodigal sons. I'm not having a party for you if I see you from afar. I'm locking the door. We're just not doing it. I'm sorry.
Why is that? Why?
Listen, to me, once you smell yourself and you leave and you think that you've arrived, then you need to continue arriving. Because I have arrived. I pay my own bills. I don't go back to my mama house. Now I might go back for a plate of food, but I'm not coming back here saying, hey, I need to regroup. No, you need to find that group you left with and try to regroup. You can't come back here. You can't come back here for a week. I don't even want you here on vacation. I would even, when you leave and you start talking that junk, I pay your first month rent and your security. My job is done. If you can't handle it after that, I'm sorry. I hope you got a big enough car with heat. With heat. You might be able to park in the driveway, but you can't come in the house.
Well, wait, no, because that's what Pastor Steph always said. She always says to me and my sisters, if we left and needed to come back is one thing, but if you left nasty, you ain't coming back here. So for you, it's if they left, period. Not even if they just said, okay, Dad, I'm able to go out and get my own, and they left on good terms. You still wouldn't allow them to come back.
I don't have that kind of anointing. I do. I don't. I'm sorry. Pastor Steph is more anointed than I am. I don't have that kind of anointing. I don't. Now, this is what I would say. So if any of my girls left and they got married, and this Negro was putting his hands on her, yeah, she can come back. Because someone will have to take care of my house because I'm a killer. So, but she can come back. But that's the only instance. Because I always tell my daughters, if that man cannot do what your daddy do or better, then you need to leave him. So if he can't uphold you like your father, you need to leave him. But that's the only reason. Not because, listen, I just decided this rent is too much and, the lights is off. I'll give you some candles. Your whole house will be romantic. The ambiance in your house will be fabulous.
Oh my gosh.
Will be fabulous. You can't come back here. I pay a lot for my lights. Now you're going to be opening up my refrigerator because now you're coming with kids. So you open up my refrigerator, the kids' toys are going to be in the way. It's going to be a booby trap. No, I'm sorry. No, not me.
Oh, Pastor Jeff, would you allow one of your kids to come back home?
Well, it really depends on how they coming back. If they coming back with a drug habit and, a whole lot of stuff that's going to, because as for me and my house, we serve the Lord. So,
right.
But I would, only because my mother, and stepfather put me out when I was like 15. And I had a hard time out there. I was laying up in people's houses that I shouldn't have been in. And then my little broke down car I was sleeping in, and it was cold. So I don't want to put my kids through that. I guess I'm too soft, but they can't come back with these habits. I done built another house on the property here, and just in case, for future, so I can't do it. I guess I'm too soft, but if they coming back with bad habits, where we not serving the Lord in my house because your habits, then you can't come back.
Shontyce, I heard you say that you pray specifically. So specifically pray for me that I get that kind of anointing that y'all got, because I ain't got it, and I ain't asking for it. So somebody got to pray for me to have it.
But it's definitely a very specific relationship, that God would ensure you have, not even with just all your children, but your children individually, because again, like I said, it would take for me or one of my sisters to really like almost try to burn the house down when we leave. For mother to say, you could never come back here, because now she and she's not want to throw it up in your face. She may remind you a few times. If you're like Pastor Kale said, oh, you think you smelling yourself. Oh, but then you got to come back and ask for anything. You got to come back and ask for what? So it's definitely, God knows with each, even adult child. He does. Right. He knows with each, because like I said, I really believe he was just like, I'm going to help you from you. And, in addition to it not making sense for me to go and pay somebody else's rent when whatever money I get or whatever, I'd rather invest in my mother's home if I'm going to invest in someone else's property. But just to think of how, okay, so you will either be spending money on bail or on something, because me and the landlord just had a fight because they just did such and such and such. And it's just like, okay, we not even
Well,
gonna.
well, well, see, now I'm understanding the picture. She gonna let you back in because she need a few dollars, and she know that she come with a few dollars. So it ain't the love of the Lord. You know what I mean? She trying to be blessed and highly favored.
Pastor Steph been paying this mortgage by her lonesome. And she said to me and my sisters a few weeks ago, because I said something to her, she said, y'all will never be able to pay this mortgage the way I done paid it. I don't care if y'all pay it consecutively for the next 18 years.
Yeah,
Y'all
but
ain't never.
y'all pay that $300 in food, so she a little hungry now.
Oh my goodness. But thank you, gentlemen, so much for being with us this morning.
Yes,
Praying
ma'am.
that you have a safe and blessed day. And
You as
praying
well.
for
You as
kids,
well.
Pastor KL. Thank you.
All right. See you later. Bye bye.
Have a good day.
All
You
right.
too.
You too.
Thank you. Ooh, goodness gracious. We are going to get into this benediction. Philippians 4:7. May the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. And again, that's Philippians 4:7. Ooh, we give God thanks for being here for and with us. You know, unfortunately, we just watched a video of someone who was an icon at one point in time in the music industry. And again, the Lord is just allowing us to see that we ain't got it without him. We don't have it if we don't focus on him, and praying that we don't ever link up with people who then give us a plan and then we got to fulfill their plan. Because that people will do it to you. They'll get you. They'll do it to you all the time. All the time. Okay. But thank you guys so much for being with us. Thanking the gentleman for always taking us into a well thought provoking week. As Pastor Steph always likes to remind us, make sure you hit that subscribe button below. Make sure you hit that subscribe button below, because we need to make sure we are sharing these lives. We are telling other people about these lives. Hit that subscribe button so that you get to see more and more and more and more from It's Due Time with Pastor Steph. Thank you guys so much for allowing me to assist you with getting your day started off right. Make sure you contact Pastor Steph on Facebook, Coach for Christian Life, COACHFOR Christian Life. Make sure you let her know you're thinking about her, you miss her, and God spares. She will be with you guys on Sunday night for the Word Prayer Project. Okay. Make sure you focus on things that are above, not on things that are on the earth, because it will only serve as a distraction. Until Sunday night, if we miss you Sunday night, until Monday, God spares, have a great weekend.